My entitled boss laid me off for refusing to come in on my weekend off, and I'm honestly so glad to be away from these people, as they were literally some of the worst people I've ever worked with in my life. Here's what happened. So to start things out, I've been in retail since 2009, and my now last job, I was there since 2014. I won't go into huge details about the work environment, but to summarize, in the whole time that I was there, my boss, despite always saying family time is important, would always screw over my personal time. When I worked directly under him, a lot of times he would cancel my days off because he was taking a trip somewhere else. Couple with that and childish and immature coworkers who threw temper tantrums and gave me the silent treatment, and I was seriously at the end of my rope. My job mostly consisted of delivering building material. I had a certain certificate to operate a certain type of delivery truck, and the certification was going to expire at the end of the year. About a week or so into January, HR came to do a review with me. During the review, they mentioned they're holding a course to revalidate the certification for everyone in the company in 2 weeks. They said to me that it's on my weekend off, and then asked me if I would be able to attend. I looked at my calendar and I said I had plans booked that day, so it doesn't work to my schedule. Now, my company wanted to get everybody done at once. That way, they save money on group training. HR said to me, well, just see if you can attend. And I said that the plans were set in stone and things were just left at that. About a week before the course, HR emailed me again, saying this course is critical for my job, so I need to try and attend. But I replied and said that it doesn't work for my schedule, that I'd be happy to do it any other day, but this is going on during my weekend off, where I had made plans well in advance, so it doesn't work for my schedule. For a few days, there was nothing else. My boss owns a few stores, and one worker from another store came by who was also going to the course. They told me that he had been making plans with his fiance for the last several months for that weekend, but had to cancel them because they suddenly revealed this training course and he had to attend. He wasn't too happy that plans he made for months had to be canceled. Now, I said nothing to him, as I figured it was his choice if he chose to do that. But then suddenly my boss began phoning me 2 days before the course, and what he said seriously blew my mind. He called me up and he said, "Hey there, HR tells me that you're unable to attend the training course." I respond to him by saying, "That's correct. I unfortunately made plans in advance, so I cannot attend." There was a moment of silence, and then the guy said to me that I needed to get this training done. I responded by saying I understand that, but I made plans well in advance and I cannot just cancel them. He responds back by saying, "Okay, you realize when we notify you 2 weeks in advance, it doesn't mean it's optional. This is mandatory." Now, at this point, I was starting to get mad. I responded by saying I understand that, but I've been planning this weekend since early December. I'll be out a lot of money if I cancel. He asked me what I was doing, but I responded by saying that that's a private matter and I can't discuss it. He then asked me, "How much is that towing bill costing me?" With me responding by saying that I pay for that myself because that was my screw up. And this relates back to a previous incident at my company. He's silent again for a few seconds and then he says to me, "Okay, then you're gonna have to do this training on your own time and on your own money then." Now, the training itself cost only a few $100s, but by this point, I had it with my boss. I said to him, "Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there." My boss then says to me, "This is pretty rich coming from you." But I said to him, "Well, I'm sorry, but I received no heads up, no communication that this was being planned for that date." Now, I know there were plans to do training early December, but I never heard anything about it since September or October. My boss then says to me, "I'm not happy right now." But I say to him, "Well, I'm sorry, but I have a life, and I can't just cancel things when I make plans on my day off." Fast forward, and for a week, I heard absolutely nothing. I continued my job as normal while looking for a new job, because I had simply had it with my boss. 9 years of all of this. I had reached my breaking point during that phone call. This boss was always screwing me over for my personal time off, and this was the last straw of trying to force me to come in on my scheduled weekend off. And then 1 week later, towards the end of the day, HR showed up to my work. They informed me that they were laying me off due to the extremely slow season, with hopes of having me come back in the spring. Now, I just said nothing, choosing to leave on a high note instead. But I knew it was really their way of firing me without firing me. That way, they avoid paying severance, which would have been in the tens of thousands of dollars. I estimated between $10,000 to $40,000. Now, before you ask, I already looked at it, and unfortunately, I have no real way of proving that this is retaliation. All their paperwork, though I know is a lie, say that I was laid off for lack of work. The only proof I have is that recently, I had to contact the insurance provider for my company to get a letter of experience from them. The agent I spoke with said he recognized my name, saying my now former employer recently removed me from their insurance coverage. Other than this backhanded move, I'm glad to be out of there. I was unhappy and stressed out and seriously just fed up. I'm using the time to advance my driver's license to the highest one I can get in my country, and I'm honestly so glad to be away from that company. Yeah, that is really such a backhanded way of getting rid of you. They literally only did that because you wouldn't sacrifice your one day off. Like seriously, how is this your fault that they scheduled this without telling anybody about it? That is honestly super annoying and so unorganized that it literally puts everybody else in a bad spot. So honestly, good for you for getting out of there in a roundabout way, because this company that you worked for were complete losers, and you deserve way better than the way that they treated you. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description. Also, go to amithejerk.com/submit if you would like to submit your own stories. My boyfriend gave me an ultimatum that if we don't have our future wedding exactly the way he wants it, then we won't be getting married. And I'm honestly at such a loss right now, and I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. My boyfriend and I have been together for 8 years, and of course, every relationship has its ups and downs, but we are the type of couple to talk about our feelings and let it all out and not go to bed mad at each other. Now, it wasn't like this in the beginning, and it honestly took a while to get to this point. Now, anyways, I don't mean to, but I bring up marriage and the wedding a lot. I really want to be married to him because he is supportive and would do anything for me, and I would do the same for him. We both do want to get married, but it's when to have the wedding that is giving us such issues. I graduate college in May, and I'm starting a decent career where I will be able to save. As of now, we have not saved up anything for it. He wants to have enough money saved up for a wedding and invite family and friends on both sides. Now, after looking at how expensive wedding planning is, I started to want to either elope or have a small ceremony with immediate family, but he says no. I eventually compromised and said to him, well, what if we have a bigger reception later when we can afford it and just invite immediate family for now? But he still says no. So I asked him, how much would it cost to have a wedding, as venue prices near us are starting at around $10,000 alone. But he says that he doesn't care. If he doesn't have the wedding how he envisions it, then we won't get married at all. I tried to compromise, but it's just not working. I just don't see how we will be able to save up wedding money as fast as I would like. I am getting to an age where I start to think about when to start a family, as I would like to be married before doing that and before buying a house. I'm honestly at such a loss, and I seriously don't know what to do. Okay, for starters, it really seems like your boyfriend is being really hard-headed. Like this guy's like, ooh, we're gonna do it my way or not at all. And that just doesn't sound like a good, happy marriage in my opinion. Like you say you guys work things out together and you don't like to go to bed mad at each other, but this guy's like not compromising on anything at all. In my opinion, I think a smaller ceremony sounds perfect, to be completely honest. Like neither of you have any money saved up, and yet he's demanding to have the wedding exactly how he wants it, otherwise it's not gonna happen. That, in my opinion, is kind of like a big red flag, and that is something that he definitely needs to get over. Because last I checked, the both of you are getting married together. Like this isn't just one person or the other. So for him to be like, ooh, we do it my way or we're not getting married, that's really weird in my opinion, and I just don't think that's a good idea. So hopefully this can work out in some kind of way where both of you can be happy about this, because as of right now, your boyfriend is being really selfish, and in my opinion, that is not fair for you in the slightest. My girlfriend said I was out of line for needing to cancel plans with her and her family, and right now I feel like a jerk, and I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So I've been with my partner for 3 years, and her family has an informal get-together every 3 to 4 months. It is at a local bar where her family books out part of the bar so we can all sit together, have some food, and get some drinks. Since we've been together, I have been to all of them except for one when I was in the hospital. There's one planned towards the end of March that we are all planning to go to. Well, I got a message from my best friend from university, who I had not seen in nearly 2 years, telling me that a group of us who went to university together are all planning on meeting up in a city near where I live for the weekend. He asked if I was interested in going, and I said yes. This would be the first time I've seen a couple of them since we left university 3 years ago. So I thought it would be a great time to catch up and all this other stuff. My friend told me what weekend it was happening, and as you might be able to guess, it's at the end of March at the same time as my girlfriend's family's get-together. I spoke to my girlfriend and I told her what had come up and apologized that I would need to cancel going to her family get-together just this once because of this. Well, when I said this, she said I was out of line and I should have told my friends no. I told her I understand she's upset, but the family get-togethers are a lot more regular than me meeting my friends, and that that I don't know the next time I'd get to see them ever again. She just repeated that I should be going to the family get-together and not meeting my friends, and that I shouldn't be canceling plans that I'd made. I tried explaining that sometimes things come up that cause plans to change, even if it is unfortunate, but she literally just wouldn't listen. So honestly, am I the jerk in this situation? What should I do? Okay, your girlfriend is being completely unreasonable. Like seriously, these get-togethers happen all the time. They do this what, every 3 months or something like that? This isn't like some once-in-a-lifetime get-together where you have to be there or else you're missing out. Like they do this once a quarter, and honestly, it happens all the time. But in contrast, you haven't seen your friends for nearly 2 years, and you're probably not going to get another chance like this for a long time. So for her to freak out on you and act like this is such a big offense to her family, in my opinion, is so weird. Like you're never going to get a chance like this where everybody's together again, and for her to expect you to attend every single family gathering is honestly just a little bit weird. So no, you are definitely not the jerk. Your girlfriend is the one that's out of line in my opinion, and the fact that she can't understand where you're coming from, in my opinion, is a pretty big red flag in the long run. Would I be the jerk if I asked my boyfriend to move in with me without his cats? Because right now he's looking for a new place to live, and I don't know if this would ruin our relationship if I asked him to do this. So my boyfriend of 1 year has received a notice to quit, which for reference is the step a landlord takes prior to getting an eviction, and he must be out of his apartment by April 30th. His notice to quit is no fault of his own. His landlord says that she needs the apartment for a relative who must have a first floor apartment. Now, when it comes to me, I'm a widowed homeowner. I live in the next town from where my boyfriend's apartment is. We live in the northeast of the United States, and we are experiencing an incredible housing crisis, just like so many other parts of the country and world. He is paying $1,400 a month for a one-bedroom apartment, and there is no chance of him finding any sort of individual apartment with a private bathroom for that price of any size. His job does not pay well, despite all the decades of experience and being an award-winning employee. I'm not going to say too much details about what he does for work, but let's just say he's doing very important things. His mother has said that she does not have the space for him to move back in with her, but that she would take the cats if it becomes necessary. He adores his 2 cats who are about 12 years old. The odds of him finding an apartment that he can afford and that takes cats before April 30th is not very good. Even finding an apartment that doesn't allow pets and securing it before April 30th is not looking in his favor. Now, I do not want to live with cats. I have tried it and it's just who I am. I'm not even going to bother getting into the reasons because I don't want this discussion to turn into how wonderful cats are and how horrible I am for not wanting to live with them and about how wrong I am about how I feel and all this other stuff. I am simply not going there with this. But here's the thing, I love him, and he is the only person that I have met or dated since my husband passed in 2019 whom I would consider living with or spending the rest of my life with. So would I be the jerk if I asked him to move in without his cats? What should I do? So I don't think you're the jerk for asking him to move in with you without the cats, but it might be better to look at this as like a temporary situation instead of a permanent one, because here's the thing, he's got cats that he really loves, and asking him to give it up just so he can move in with you is probably not gonna happen. Like maybe if you told him, hey, you can move in with me and keep the cats with your mom or something like that, since she is willing to watch them in the meantime. This would at least give him some kind of breathing room for finding a new apartment, and you get to enjoy his company without having cats running around all over your apartment. Because from the sounds of it, that's something that you really do not want to deal with. And I don't blame you for setting those expectations now, as opposed to figuring it out as he moves in. Am I the jerk for telling our landlord about his daughter's plans, as she was planning on taking the furniture out of the fully furnished apartment that I was renting and taking it with her to go to school? Because right now, my roommate is calling me a jerk, and at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So I live in an apartment with 2 other people, one of which is the daughter of the landlord, who we will call Hannah. Hannah is not her real name. She is moving to another apartment that is closer to her university the 1st of May. The landlord already has another tenant that will move in on the 1st of May that we already met and who we like. And so at this point, there are no problems. Well, I had a conversation with Hannah this weekend, and she told me she is planning to take most of the furniture in the living room and most of the kitchen stuff with her, including the television, the couch, plates, cutlery, and kitchen appliances. Now, I didn't ask or say anything then, and maybe I should have, but here's the thing. My other roommate and I pay a little bit more in rent so that we can have an apartment that is fully furnished with a living room and kitchen, and this is on paper in the rental agreement. So yesterday, I emailed our landlord and politely asked what his ideas are about the furniture, wondering if he he was planning on replacing things. And if we had to do it ourselves, would we be compensated? Or would the rent be lowered down altogether? I really just generally wanted to know what was happening. Well, today, Hannah came up to me very angry. She was upset because according to her, I went behind her back and tattled on her to her dad. Apparently, her dad forbade her from taking the stuff that she wanted to, and now she could only take the stuff from her bedroom and a couple of other small things from the living room and the kitchen. She is mad that I didn't talk to her because I went behind her back, stating that we could have come to an agreement of some kind and that I ruined her move because she couldn't afford a lot of furniture. Now, I feel like I maybe should have talked to her, but I mostly feel like I have an agreement with the landlord and not with her, and I didn't want to get involved in their business. So honestly, am I the jerk? Should I have done things different in any kind of way? What should I do? No, you are definitely not the jerk. Hannah's being super spoiled, and she's just mad that she didn't get away with some free furniture, because that's all she was trying to do. She didn't care about you in the slightest. She would have left that apartment bare if she had the chance. You literally just went to the landlord to be like, oh, okay, she's taking all this stuff. What am I gonna do? Do I need to buy a new couch and a new table and all this other stuff? Because seriously, if you're paying for a fully furnished apartment, then it better be fully furnished. And any sketchy business that Hannah's trying to do, where she's like, ooh, we could have had a deal between the two of us. I don't know about you, but that seems like a really good way to get evicted and to be on really bad terms with your landlord. And also, what in the world is she talking about? You ruined her move. She's still gonna move out. There's nothing that's gonna change there. Just because she got caught in the act and she now feels bad about it doesn't mean that you ruined anything. It just means that she can't get away with being dishonest and screwing you over in the process. Because that's all it would have done to you and your new roommate. She would have made off with a bunch of furniture and you guys would be left with literally nothing, and her dad scratching his head wondering why you didn't say anything. So no, you are definitely not the jerk, and if anything, I think you should be glad that you got rid of Hannah out of that apartment, because it sounds like you were living with someone who was super entitled, and I think overall you got super lucky with her moving out. My friend is blowing me off after I asked for the art that I ordered, and right now I'm at a crossroads, and I now seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. Over a decade ago, I met my long-distance best friend. Our friendship grew gradually, until years later when we finally called each other our best friends. We went through a lot together, like discovering gender identities, going through toxic relationships, anxiety, depression, and then some. But I now find myself at a crossroad. I ordered art pieces from them 5 years ago, totaling to a couple $100. I had one order 10 or so years ago, but I wrote that off since that was underpriced, and I don't have an attachment to the thing that they were drawing. But it is the expensive ones that I care about. Now, admittedly, partly this is on me for not being on them about it and rationalizing their lateness. But as of now, that is ending. I started getting on their case about it a few months ago. After I reminded them, it was radio silent for a few weeks before I hit them up again. But this time, there was no conversations, no nothing. Again, this is on me as well. I noticed that I'm usually the one who sends contacts first, and sometimes I send good morning messages and nothing else. Recently, I noticed that I do a lot of heavy lifting in the friendship, and I have talked to them about it once before. After I contacted them the first time, I decided to not reach out first as an experiment. And again, I got nothing for 2 months. The next time we spoke was when I reached out for an art update. The conversation was all business. I tried to be friendly, but their messages were weird. When they finished a part of one of the pieces I gave my approval, they would then say nothing back in return. Not even a thanks or an okay. I think that is honestly finally what's making me snap. I'm fine with dwindling friendships. I mean, life happens, but I don't like being blatantly blown off, especially when we were calling each other best friends only a few weeks prior. I want to confront them about this, but I don't know if I should do it before or after they give me what they owe me. Or am I just being ridiculous and I shouldn't say anything at all? What should I do? Okay, this doesn't sound like a friend at all. Like seriously, this person doesn't sound like anybody who has any connection to you in the slightest. So for you to be like, oh yeah, we're best friends, that kind of leads me to believe that this is very much a one-sided best friendship, and this is not something that the other person reciprocates at all. Also, what is this timeline? You waited 5 years to follow up on art that you ordered? Like seriously, what are you doing? Like I'm pretty sure this person scammed you out of a couple $100, and they're probably gonna try to like ghost you in the future. If I commission an artist and they don't give me a time frame at all of when my stuff will be ready, then I'm gonna demand my money back and get somebody else to do it. I'm not gonna sit there and let this fester for 5 years and then suddenly be like, hey, about that art half a decade ago. Like what is going on right now? So truly, I think you need to separate any supposed friendship away from the business of you getting your art, because from the sounds of it, it doesn't seem like this person likes you at all. And I'm pretty pretty sure that if you didn't say anything, then this art would probably never have been made. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist at the top of the description. And if you want some chill music to put on in the background, check out easymode.com. If you like Am I the Jerk, subscribe to Am I the Genius. Everything will be linked down below in the description.